drawn in the group of death, if you like, alongside Italy, Albania, Croatia as well. Went through them. They then beat Germany, arguably the second best team that we've seen in this tournament. Beat France, the favourites. England, the other favourites. Fair play.
Yeah, they beat Italy as well.
Yeah.
They've beaten everybody, haven't they?
Yeah.
Croatia, yeah.
They've gone through the card, haven't they? They've done everything asked of them. And also, I was at the Germany game, and Germany tried to kick him off the pitch in the first half, and he stood up to that as well. So they've beaten teams with their passing. They've also stood up to the physical intimidation. You talked about, Aymeric Laporte. I think he's been outstanding this tournament. And again, he's a guy that was was cast away by Man City. Dani Olmo, for me, is a great little player. So Spain have got everything. They can pass, they can hold their own in terms of like physicality, and they've got some great young players coming through. So I'm not sure we're going to have an era of dominance like we had, in 2008, 10 and 12, because I think there are other nations there that can beat them. But Spain, Spain has got an incredible streamline of talent, haven't they? And the clubs are great as well. So it's going to be really hard for anybody to overtake Spain in the next few years.
I mean, you looked at the crowd, and in the stands, you've got Pedri, who's a youngster. You've got Gavi, who's younger, who couldn't make it, who have been injured. So they're going to come in. Dani Olmo's young. Rodri can still play. Fabian Ruiz can still play. You need a number 9. They need a number 9. But, I mean, there's a lot.
Everybody needs
a number 9. That's the problem. And we thought we had the best one.
Oh, yes.
Our one was the best.
Ours was broken.
But he was slightly broken.
Sorry, he's still the best.
I know.
Comparing to the others, he's still the best.
He just looks way off
Harry Kane is the best striker in the world, because I don't have any comparison.
Yeah.
Fulkrug could be maybe, but he doesn't even play for Germany. And of course, you're not going to compare him to, as you say to me before, Klose, because Miroslav Klose was a fantastic striker. We have a lack of, in the world, of good striker.
Harry Kane could barely move.
I know.
He was
what
tired,
the hell? I mean, all through the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he didn't get much.
And this is, again, like conversations we've had about Cristiano Ronaldo, we had about Eden Hazard. Back,
I don't think he's not quite there.
No, I know he's not quite there, but surely these are managers who are just scared, blinkered, or hopeful. Like, how would you...
I think hopeful.
That it'll turn.
I think hopeful. And I think that's how he was with his team selection. Hopeful that front four would do all of a sudden click. And it didn't. And guys are playing out of position. Foden played most of the tournament out of position. Bellingham played some... And I agree with Oggy. None of them, including Bellingham, were great. Bellingham did get a couple of hugely important goals. Well, one hugely important goal. But none of them even got close. Maybe Saka, to an extent. But none of them got close to their club form. None of them.
No.
Declan Rice as well.
Compared to the Spanish side... who almost eclipsed their club.
Who virtually eclipsed it.
Can I make it just...
They lost Pedri, they lost Rodri.
Yeah. And they had Olmo, they had everybody.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to Cucurella today. I mean, he did the job. He was absolutely fantastic against Saka, where he suffered so much against Arsenal at Highbury against Saka. That was horrible to see him playing. He was today again. Just one message to the fans. I know you don't have 100% smart people in the stands, but booing him for the loss of Germany.
The Cucurella handball.
Oh, my God. How can you be that, sorry, I have to say, stupid, to boo somebody because he made a handball, he didn't do it on purpose, and the ref didn't give a penalty? Do you really think he's responsible for the loss of Germany? You have to be... Stop that. Stop that, really, because that guy deserved much more than that. He didn't do it. He did his job. He didn't do it on purpose. Stop booing him. If you come to the stadium to boo somebody because you're German, you have nothing to do here, really.
And what was positive today, I thought, with Spain winning, is that Lamine Yamal didn't have his best game.
No.
He had 2 big chances late on, yet they still win. It would have been hard to see him suffer, if Spain lose.
Nico Williams was given man of the match, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was the star player.
He took it brilliantly.
Semi-final, that was Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
And Nico, we didn't see too much.
He was up against Kyle Walker today, which is always a very difficult task. But he was every time he got the ball, I think Craig said it before, turn, attack Kyle Walker, turn, attack Saka. Yes, he comes back sometimes, but at least he went forward, get into the right areas and then get a bit of help off your mate. And his goal was indicative of how he's played in this tournament. So it wasn't about Lamine Yamal today. No. He struggled at times. It was about the other youngster.
But that was funny.
And you can see now maybe Barcelona will have to try and get the checkbook out to try and bring him in one day, because they probably need him.
At 1-0, you see Lamine Yamal saying to the other player, calm down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that cracked me up. Yeah, the guy, 17 years old. Guys, calm down.
I thought Luke Shaw did a good job on him, particularly in the first half.
True.
For a guy that hasn't played since February, and we talked about the physicality of the game for a youngster, and I think you saw a little bit of that in the first half because Shaw's a big, maybe too big at times, but he's a big unit.
Oh.
But I mean, he had, look, you couldn't make it up, could you? Finishing your homework, your exams in a hotel in Germany, having a breakout season for your club, and it's Barcelona, by the way. It's not some Gubbins team.
Yes.
And then, you know, making your debut for your country, whenever that was, as a 15 or 16-year-old. And then, you know, scoring this magnificent goal against France in a huge, huge game. And been the one that everybody's talking about. And then winning the European Championships. I mean, he didn't play badly. He just didn't light it up like he has. Could have had himself a couple of goals, but others have chipped in. And you just felt that everything that Spain did, they were understanding of what each other were doing, the movement. You know, if one guy popped in, the fullback was forward.
That's it, mate. They had a plan of how to play.
The midfielders were rotating nicely, and they were just always giving England a problem to think about.
It would have been absolutely fantastic, like a fairy tale, you know, to see Lamine Yamal scoring on the Olmo chance, you know, with Nico Williams, where it was a great action, and Pickford saved it, but mostly Lamine Yamal picked the wrong side, let's say. But he would have scored. Imagine he scores in the final, scored in the semi-final, final, 17 years old. I mean, well, hopefully he's going to get consistent, because we don't know, and we really hope to see him for the next 15 years, let's say. But it's already fantastic what he achieved.
One that we're hearing now, obviously, from Gareth Southgate, and I'm sure he didn't lead with this. However, he did bring up the fact that Spain had 24 hours more to prepare, or more to rest for this game compared to England. Is that fair?
That did happen. I mean, so you can
yes,
mess it up.
and I don't agree. And
I don't agree with it.
Other people might have a different opinion. I think the semi-finals, at worst, should be on the same day with split times.
But they won't do that because of money, will they? Because they want prime time.
Because the player welfare, it's not welfare. Now, the player's not going to have anything serious happen to him. But the player welfare in terms of rest at the end of a long season into a very pressurised tournament is the last thing on the mind.
Yeah.
FIFA, UEFA, whoever it is, they don't care. It is about the money, so therefore it is not ideal having a final when two teams have played a day apart. It's not ideal. But let's be frank about this. England have played like this all the way through the tournament.
All tournament.
All the way through the tournament. And whether we agree with the kick-off times and days, that hasn't decided tactics, it hasn't decided substitutions, it hasn't decided team selection. That is Gareth Southgate, and I sincerely hope he's not using it as an excuse.
Using the same players every single game, even when they've been struggling and looking unfit.
On the third game, especially on the third game.
That's been the problem.
And within 3 weeks, all players are going to travel all around the world with the clubs, you know, for money. Mostly come to US, make a tournament, and nobody's going to ask if at the end of the season they're going to be tired. You know, because money talks.
It happens all year with the Champions League and travel and all that. And unfortunately, what Gareth said is completely correct. Of course it is. They did have 24 hours rest. Yes. And whether that's played a part, only knows. But we've all played in tournaments. When you look at it on the wider scale, that is not the reason why they lost. That's not quite the reason they lost.
No, because
and the term clutching
games,
at straws springs to mind very, very quickly because they lost because they were the second best team.
Between the games, the player they do nothing, and you know they
but
go.
What was the stat? Is it 6 times in a row now? It's been the team that have played 24 hours earlier have gone on to win the final. That can't be a massive. That can be a coincidence, can it?
Maybe because they're
maybe
teams.
not. But
I don't know.
Well, no, there we go.
Have to look back. I don't know.
We'll do some research.
You know, when you try to be pessimistic, you know, you always find a reason.
Listen, hey,
just tell me.
Why would I need to look back? I'm happy.
I know.
I got the result I was hoping for.
Final thoughts from you, mate, before we let you go.
Well, just like I said earlier, I think it's a missed opportunity by England. I think, you know, they had the game to win tonight. They haven't been a great team in the tournament, but they had it in their hands tonight. They equalised, and I think they had a bit of momentum, but they lost it. But looking at that, I think from now on, whoever the England manager is, he's got to start Cole Palmer. I thought Cole Palmer makes a massive difference whenever he plays. And also, England have a way to play without Harry Kane now. When they don't have Harry Kane, they have more mobility, more flair. And I think they've got to look at that. There's too many players in this England team, I think, that are kind of undroppable. You know, they can take them off, but they seem undroppable. Spain didn't seem to have that. Spain looks a lot more democratic in the sense of how many players were kind of able to come off or able to play. There's still a little bit of ego about the England team, which you get to a certain status, you wear the armband, you've got so many caps that you get a little bit too much time to prove yourself. So I think that's the way forward. That trust the youth team players, trust the young players. But England are still, they've got to find a coach who can get the best out of these players. That's my final thought, really.
Back home tomorrow then, Mark?
Back home tomorrow. Yeah, been a long 5 weeks.